Hello and welcome everyone to another Quantum Conversation. And in this channel, we are demystifying the mystical, talking about teleportation and any experiences that enable us to bring our expanded states of consciousness down into this earthly realm to make it more real for more people. And today I am really excited to be joined by Tia Christiansen. So, Tia, thank you for being here and a very warm welcome to you.
Karen, thank you so much for having me as your guest. I am very grateful, and I am such a big fan of the work that you're doing, and I'm so thankful that you are committed to and on this mission to demystify the mystical, because we all get to participate. So my gratitude to you.
Yeah, well, I'm so grateful for you to be here. We connected through a friend we have in common, and she said, you've just got to talk to her. She's going to love talking with you. And so I'm really excited for this conversation. So before we dive in, would you like to share a little bit about yourself and what you're up to in the world?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking, Karen. I am a transformational leadership coach, and what that really means is, I've got a couple of different avenues that I work with people, and it's really at the core of it is authenticity. So really tapping into your intuition, using creativity, both as pathways to reach your authentic self so that you can lead from that place. So you can be a leader in your life and in the world, and really bring your special gift out into the world, because we are in that time where so many people are waking up, that there's this wave of light that is cascading across the universe and the cosmoses, and we all get to participate in that. And another big piece of what I do is around energy work. I'm a Reiki master, and energy healing is a very important aspect of what is taking place in this world. And so I fuse the energy healing, the energy body, and that connection with the physical body and our authenticity. So it is truly mind, body, and soul, and have been working on my own connection with the divine really since I was 15 years old. That doesn't mean that I was doing it every single day. Like many of us, I tapped in for a bit, then I checked out for a bit, then I tapped in for a bit. But it really all started when I was 15. And these past 4.5, 5 years have just been an incredible awakening after awakening after awakening, message after message after message.
Oh, I absolutely love it. And I love the tapping in and checking out. It's like the contraction of the universe, the expansion of the universe, and in and out. I love it. So what happened at the age of 15 for you to suddenly tap into something that was greater than yourself?
Yeah, Karen, thanks. It was a lightning bolt moment where I was 15. I was a sophomore in high school here in the United States. And we were assigned Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha for reading in my English class. And when I read that book, it was like the veils had come down. It was as if my eyes were open for the first time, and I wanted to be this person, this Buddha. I wanted to be in that place of like, what is this emptiness and this ascension and the struggle? And how do I get to be in that place of samsara and skip all the stuff? Skip all the heartache and just like, beeline it to the end. So this was back in, I graduated high school in 1986. So it was 83, 84. And there weren't meditation classes, or mindfulness wasn't a thing. And I just went to a bookstore and looked in like self-help, and just stumbled into a number of books around channeled messages. I think Bartholomew was really popular for a long time. And then there was another one that was a being who was being channeled by the writer, and they were writing out these words. And I tried really hard to connect with it, but it was I didn't have that heart connection. And I tried the meditation, and I would sit in my room, quiet, breathing, breathing. And it must have been forever. And I'd open my eyes. It would be, not even a minute. So that's how it began.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. And I really love that, not wanting to deal with the stuff. If we could have that delete button that we could just skip through the stuff that we need to deal with, that would be, or we get to deal with, that would be absolutely brilliant. Still
And
working on
I
that one,
didn't,
though.
right. And to your point, like at that stage of life, I didn't understand the gift of all of that stuff.
Mm.
That it was through all of those things and our experiences that we've chosen to come here and experience those things as humans for our own benefit and our own growth. And it took me, many, many years to have that go, that there's a lot of, that's the silver lining.
Yeah.
The stuff, the highs, the mids, and the lows are the silver lining, or the carrot in front of the horse, which keeps us moving along so that we can grow.
Yeah, exactly. And then when we grow through that, we can help others, which is the beauty of it all. So I love that you suddenly, got in touch with this book and it opened up your consciousness, because isn't that often how it happens for people? I know I got in touch with Louise Hay's work, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. And it like opened my awareness. I mean, I wasn't 15, I was a lot older, but it all often happens through a mentor, a book, or something. So what was the next thing along your path? What was how did you manage to tap into channeling more regularly? What was the next step in your journey?
Well, like I mentioned, I would sort of quote unquote practice from time to time in life. And then, I would sort of check out and get way up in my head and, working and get caught up in what my mentor, Michael Strassner, calls, well, both of our mentors, calls the drift. And, get caught up in that sort of, being taken along in the river of sleepiness, of the non-woken. And that's not a negative thing. It's just where we're at as humans. And then about 12 years ago, I worked with a life coach who was very gifted and received lots of messages and guidance. And for her connection was with God. And it was through that work, it was a year-long program where we really dug deep into connecting with our inner guidance and your inner wisdom, that inner voice, that gut feeling. And I developed this really amazing connection with my inner guidance, which I still use to this day. And it was through that, peeling back the layers, peeling back my stories, understanding my stories, that I began to, and meditating regularly at that time was really a profound shift for me. I began to receive information. I began to hear the word. And for me, the voice that has always come through has always been a feminine voice. And so for those of you watching, feel free to put whatever name or word rings true for you or resonates for you in however I'm speaking. For me, it is the Great Mother, and she speaks to me. And there are times that I have been better at listening. And then there are times that I have been not so great at listening, just like our children. Sometimes they're very acute in what they hear, and sometimes they're so busy playing that they don't hear us at all. And like a parent, she is quite patient. However, there have been times when the message has been very urgent and she has been very loud in getting my attention. So that about 12 years ago was another huge step for me, another huge step forward. And then 5 years ago, I started working with my Reiki teacher. I was being called to develop my skills and being called to be attuned to Reiki. I didn't really understand the full concept of it, but as I delved into that work, there were other doors that began to open for me and new ways of understanding my place within this universe, within this time and space, and my place and my mission. And that began to unfold. And then I had a life-changing event in 2017, which I know you and I talked about before. And I'm happy to share it here. And I do want to preface my story with saying that you don't have to go through a life-changing event or something traumatic in order to awaken further. It just is the way that the next phase unfolded for me.
Yeah.
I used to work in rock and roll, and I was at the Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas on August 1st, 2017. And still very emotional.
Yeah.
I was one of the fortunate people that was able to walk away from the worst mass shooting in modern American history. And thankful every day. And I think about those that we lost every day. And it was through that experience and the aftermath of that experience that I began to understand things in an even deeper way. And it was just the nature of how loudly the Great Mother was speaking to me in that moment. And I began to see that what I had been working with my Reiki teacher on, that it was so much deeper than what I had first conceived of. And it was with this teacher that she also is an activator of new codes. And I had worked with her, and she was activating 7 of my ancient goddess codes at the DNA level. And I didn't really understand what that meant. And again, this huge lightning bolt moment in my life, I began to really wake up to what it means to be a portal shifter. And the mission work that I have in this time and place, in this lifetime, with regard to portals and ensuring safe passage to those who use the portals, and especially to those who are transitioning from this plane of existence to another plane of existence. My relationship in working from time to time with the energy and the entity and the being of death. Death is a neutral energy. It's not of light or dark or good or bad. It is part of the cycle. And as portal shifter, there are times that I am present during certain transition moments. And what I have discovered, it's been moments of transition when it's a lot of people transitioning at one time, and through something traumatic like Las Vegas. What I discovered was that at a certain level of existence, that part of my purpose there that night was to ensure that those who are transitioning and of the light could safely do so to their own portal. So it's, as we discussed, very multi-layered. I've always had a strong love in my heart for fairies. When I was little, Tinkerbell, I thought she was the coolest thing in the world. And, I'm of an age where Disney used to have I think it was every Sunday night, they would show a movie or a cartoon on Sunday nights. And they had an animation where Tinkerbell would come in. And I just thought, oh my gosh, if she was real, that would be so incredible and cool. And I woke up to my connection with the fairy realm. And the connection that I have is as Queen Mob and my fairy clan. And I've connected with other fairy clans and been in ceremony to heal Mother Gaia and activate Mother Gaia. And since doing so, have had a number of the clans, and in fact, one particular activation, all of the fairy clans came together to be present, which was the first time in eons that they had gathered to bestow a gift of healing to Mother Gaia. So it's sort of been like that.
Wow, thank you for sharing all of that. That's absolutely beautiful. So I absolutely love the title, Portal Shifter. Yeah, and you were definitely at that event for a reason. And often we can be in traumatic situations and we don't realize at the time why we're there, but it comes clear further after. So how was the great mother speaking to you, how was her voice coming through to you at that moment or during these moments?
She comes through, it's a very powerful knowing. So for me, and I'm sure you've talked about it here on your channel, the clairs. There are 5 clairs. So I'm more clairsentient and clairvoyant. So I get a knowing or feeling of things. So for me, there are times when it's an inkling, like that gut feeling I was talking about before, being really tapped into my inner guidance, where I'm like, oh, wait, I get to stop for a moment. So sometimes I hear, it's not really a voice, but it's like words. I hear words, and it has a different tonality and a different power to it than when I am receiving a message from an ascended master. I have received many messages from Mary Magdalene. I have channeled messages from her to my community, which I do a Tuesday tune-up for my community, which is a free channeled energy healing. Mother Mary has come through to convey messages, and her way of being, her tonality, her energy is different than Mary Magdalene or the Great Mother. I have also had messages and interactions with Yeshua, and that energy is different. And that energy I receive is a male energy. So it's really about the feeling I get and the energy that's around it and what I hear.
Right, beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. So, to go back to the fairy realms, what else can you tell us about the fairy realms? I mean, how do you connect? And for those who don't understand, can you tell us more about it?
Sure. And, Karen, I'm going to say, like, it took me a long time to say these words out loud.
I understand that.
Like, okay, yeah, I'm Queen Mab of the fairy realm. I'm a portal shifter. I am a seer for Lemuria. I have a connection with Lemuria, and Lemuria was in existence at the same time as Atlantis. I am the Rose Sophia nourishment. I am a warrior of light. I am also here to work with everyone to unify the masculine and feminine energies. So there's a lot that is unfolded, and they're all part of the same path. So specifically with my connection with the fairy realm, again, it's as you begin to awaken, which everyone can do. And there are many different pathways to awakening. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be some huge moment in life. There are many people I'm talking to who are all of a sudden, they have this hunger inside of them. They want more, and they're not sure what that is. And they may be very successful in their job and career and have the family and everything they've wanted, but there's this thing that's nagging at them of like, there's a bigger piece of the puzzle. There's something more I get to do in this life. And it's from that place of curiosity, that we come to where we're able to wake up. So we all exist at the same time in various different planes of existence and in different timelines. So my connection with the fairy realm, and it's funny because they're all very excited every time I speak out loud. There's lots of energy and excitement, and I begin to shift partially into that plane of existence. And each fairy realm is different, and it's an unfolding still. Much like a parent, nobody gives you the book when you birth your child of here's how to be the perfect parent, right? And raise and make sure that your kids are having the best childhood ever. So it unfolds with time and experience. So the fairy realm that I am queen of, and I have a brother who's there, who is always with me. He is always right at my side, sort of here on my right shoulder. And we have lots of conversations, and he's very encouraging and guiding, and can be like, there are times I'll feel a tap on my shoulder when I get to be reminded to take my attention to the fairy realm, or there is something that gets to be done. And my realm, the realm that I'm most directly affiliated with, we are, I don't want to say in charge of, but our mission is to infuse magic with heart power, with love.
Beautiful.
And there are other realms. One clan that I met in Lake Tahoe at the Fairy Falls, they are there and they sort of monitor and manage, and those aren't quite the right words, but their mission is to protect, oversee, ensure the timelines, that time and space are kept in integrity. And another clan that I've worked with and that I've come into partnership with is in overseas. What's the word I'm looking for? They oversee shape shifting. Sorry about that. I couldn't get to that word for a moment.
Okay.
And they're experts in shape shifting, and shape shifting is possible. And they just oversee that. So it's not that we as fairy clans own these things, but we are charged with infusing magic and activations with these elements and ensuring their integrity and ensuring that they continue to stay of the light. Because there is a battle. There is a battle between unbalanced energy and balanced energy. And I use that term instead of light and dark. And there is darkness. When our world was created, when the cosmos was created, it was created at a pure essence. And with that came the light. And with that also came dark. And you can go back to in Genesis, it's written in Genesis in the Torah. And that's because it's real. And we're at this precipice right now of the light is just cascading, and this old, outdated energy, this masculine mantle of power of holding people down is dying off. And that old power is also seeing the darkness, that original darkness also losing its power and dying off. So there are these spurts that are happening where it's trying to sort of if you can, grab onto something and hang on. And so as part of the fairy realm, this activation and really waking up and working with balanced energy and light to really infuse everything as best we can to be available for when people wake up, to encourage them to do so, and to be there as their guide as they wake up in whatever that way that looks like for people. Because it doesn't look the way that I woke up or how I woke up or what I woke up to isn't the same for you or all of the people here watching, or it might be the same.
Yeah. And everybody's way is perfect anyway, so that's great. So how do you use, I'm curious, how do you use your contact with the fairy realms in combination with your transformational leadership capacities?
Well, Karen, it's I discover where people are at on their journey first. Because as a coach, the most important thing that I can do is meet people where they are at. They're coming to me, they're drawn to me because they don't really know why, but there's something.
Yeah.
There's something that you're drawn to. And that's always how it works. And that's why really within the coaching realm, I have so many friends who are coaches, and we refer people to each other all the time. There's no competition. It's just a silly notion.
Yeah.
Because one person might have a deeper awakening with a different coach than with me. And that's okay because it's really about them. So the first thing I do is meet the person where they're at. We have a conversation. We deep dive into their vision. We uncover what that is, or we really connect them with that. And then the first phase that I work with everyone at is connecting with their intuition, which is really their divinity, their higher self, that connection with the divine. And work with my clients on understanding that they are divine. And whatever that looks like for them, their relationship with God or Jesus or their own internal relationship. Excuse me. And whatever that looks like for them.
Beautiful.
And it is through that I'll receive inclinations or information or guidance from my own intuition, which is the fairy kingdom, or the Great Mother, or ascended masters, or even my client's higher self, and what it is that they're ready to receive. Because I could come on strong and talk about all of this and probably scare the bejesus out of a whole bunch of people. And for others, they're going to be like, yeah, I'm totally in. So I get to meet everyone where they're at on their journey. And then we get to peel back the layers of what that looks like for them.
Okay, that's brilliant. And I'm also curious about your relationship with the ascended masters. So, what are your experiences with the ascended masters? How do they come through for you, and how does that show up in your life?
Thanks for asking that question, Karen. It's really a good one. I apologize, I'm getting a little tickle in my throat, but we're,
Okay.
as it is. Mary Magdalene first came to me, and she often comes to me when I'm meditating, and it's very visual. And the first time I saw her, I was meditating, and I was taken back in time to a biblical period, and it was definitely in the Middle East. And I was standing there with a pot of some kind at a watering well, and there were children playing, and there was lots of laughter, and I got this strange sensation that I needed to look over my shoulder to the left. And as I did that, and in clearly seeing myself in this scene, there was a woman who was sitting with other people, and she looked over her shoulder back at me and locked eyes with me. And without moving her mouth, she spoke to me through her eyes and with her mind, and she said, "You carry my secret."
I love it.
And of course, I'm a human. So I'm like, wait, what secret? Who are you? What do you do? What's going on? What is this? What should I be doing? What am I doing with this secret? And then, it faded away because I popped up into my head and got totally caught up there. And I then, sat with that for some time. And I thought, it can't be Mary Magdalene. Who am I to get a message? Like, who am I to think such a thing? And then the more I sat with it, the more I was like, and I checked in with my inner guidance, my inner wisdom. And I was like, wow, that was Mary Magdalene. I'm carrying her secret. I don't know what it is. And then sometime later in meditation, she came through in very much the same way again of, you carry my secret and you'll know when it's time.
Okay, brilliant. And
then there have been times in meditation where scenes would be unfolding and I would be exploring, and I came to understand my connection with Isis, and that I am an initiate of Isis, and I have been for many lifetimes, and that as a warrior of light, that I bear her mark, and that as a warrior of light, that I'm in these worlds to bring the light and to lead other light warriors. And Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary were also initiates of Isis. And so there have been times where the three of us have knelt side by side in front of Isis. We have received messages from Isis directly. And, in meditations, that's sort of how I began to develop that relationship with Mary Magdalene, which again, you just get to be open. If you're open, they'll all come through. And then really most profoundly was this past June, I was in Sedona. It was my first visit, and I'd always heard about the high vibration of Sedona. And it was so high that my body was literally shaking as I was driving into Sedona. While I was driving, and I drove off the road a little bit. I was just like buzzing so high, like dipped off the road and came back on. And, I was like, okay, let's ground. Let's get really grounded here. And I went to the cathedral. Oh, shoot, what's it called? The Cathedral of the Rock, I believe is what it's called, is one of the sacred sites. There's a vortex energy there. And it's very, I'm just going to say it's very Christian. It's a cathedral. Of course it is. It's minimalistic. So it's very much about being in honor of the minimalism of original Christianity. However, it was built right on top of these rocks, which is the Apache territory. So in the middle of this beautiful landscape of Apache, formerly Apache territory before they were removed, sits this, cathedral, which is a very interesting juxtaposition here in the United States with indigenous populations, which is a whole nother conversation. And I was sitting and I had looking for some shade and I just wanted to meditate. So I sat with my back against the side of the cathedral in the shade on this bench, and I just closed my eyes. And as I did, I felt all of these maidens of light. They just revealed themselves to me. And what I came to understand is that these were maidens of light that work with Mary Magdalene. And she came forward very loudly this time in my mind's eye and said, it is time for you to share my secret. And what I saw was this visual of a seed within our heart. She said, some of you have been carrying my secret for generations. It's time for you to awaken and bring it out into the world. And what she showed me was that the seed in my heart had blossomed into a flower.
Beautiful.
And it was time for me to literally take the flower out of my heart and bring it out into the world and share it. And that message is that our true feminine power comes from leading with heart. It comes from being connected with our intuition. And that we are now in this time frame that is the place that we get to be. And that is our true feminine power. Recognizing our divinity, leading with heart, leading with our intuition. And that's it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and definitely ties in with the transformational leadership that we've been through with Michael's leading with heart. Yes. And it it's all come together really beautifully, because I didn't know you'd done the same transformational leadership course, and we end up being in the same graduates group since then. And okay, right. It all comes together absolutely divinely when it's the right time. So thank you for sharing all your beautiful experiences. Is there anything else you can share with us about your expanded states of consciousness? Is there anything we've not talked about?
Well, we could probably sit here all day long, Karen, right?
We could, yes.
But I will share this, that all we have to do is listen. Mm-hmm. And some months ago, I had this thought float through my mind that said, I'm going to awaken 1 million hearts. And I immediately dismissed it. What a crazy notion. Who says such things? Well, Oprah can. Gabby Bernstein, of course, these icons, these iconic figures, Martin Luther King Jr., these iconic figures, they awaken 1 million hearts. And I dismissed it. And then the following week, I heard a very loud voice with very strong energy, and I knew it was the Great Mother. And she said to me, why did you think that was your thought?
I love it.
I gave that to you. And I went, oh, there I was being human again. And not really hearing it. And so I'm on a mission. I've been given a mission to awaken 1 million hearts. And
yes, you are.
Awakened heart, reclaimed power. When we awaken our hearts, we are able to reclaim our power. And that is our divine feminine power, with which both men and women carry. And everyone is invited. And it's about standing shoulder to shoulder, lifting each other up, male, female, whatever gender you identify with, whatever energy you identify with. That is neutral. It's about unifying our masculine and feminine energies. We can be feminine with unified energies, and we can be masculine with unified energies. And we get to stand together to do so.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's beautiful. There's nothing we can add to that, really. So for those who identify with your beautiful energy, how can we get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Well, thank you, Karen. I appreciate you asking that. To all of you watching, I offer a free strategy session. And you can just go to my website, dreamsculptinginstitute.com
Okay, I'll put
and
that in.
schedule a free strategy session. They're 20 to 30 minutes, and we just sort of dig into, where do you want to go, what's holding you back, and we see what comes up, and we just have a conversation around that. And if you know, and there's many of you who know right now, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the path for me. Let's work together. I do one-to-one coaching programs, and I'm actually in an open enrollment right now. And you can get a hold of me at TIA, at dreamsculptinginstitute.com. And feel free to sign up for my newsletter. I send out inspirational messages, a lot about transformational leadership, and you'll get a free download that is an awakened heart activation, as well as a link to join my Tuesday tune-ups, which I hold every Tuesday night for my community.
Oh, beautiful. So I will post those links below. And so thank you for sharing all that with us. And I advise you all to jump in and schedule a session right now before you forget that life is now, after all. And so thank you so much for sharing all your light, this beautiful energy that's coming through you. Is there anything you would like to add to conclude this conversation?
Yeah, there's your future is not written. You get to create your future every single moment of the day. What's happened in the past has happened in the past. And you get to shift and change what it is you want, or the pathway that you thought you were supposed to be on. It's not absolute. And when you lead from the heart, that is your most powerful place. It will expand your communities. It will call in the love of your life. It adds to the bottom line. It adds to the vibration of this planet and this universe and the cosmos. And it is so needed right now. So sending each of you all of my love and inviting you to just go ahead and take that first step forward and pick up the phone, send the email, and let's talk.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much. I absolutely love what you're doing. I love where you're going, and I can't wait to see what the next step is. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you.
I'm sorry, Karen, it's been such an honor. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah. And thanks to all of you who are watching. And Karen, I just adore you, love you to pieces. And I'm so thankful.
I love you to pieces too. And thank you so much for sharing your love and your light. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Much love to you all.